How's it going, YouTube? I'm SteveIsALion Stewart, and I am a mixed martial artist from Pahrump, Nevada, in the middle of nowhere. You guys probably haven't even heard of the place. I train with Mix It Up Academy here in Pahrump, and I'm going to be doing a little segment every time a new UFC event rolls around. I'm just going to be giving my input on it and picking a few fights and telling you guys who I think will win and why. For UFC 125, I decided only to do 3 fights, ones that I kind of feel strongly about or have been looking at with a lot of interest and stuff like that. So the 3 that I picked were Brad Tavares versus Phil Baroni, Chris Lieben versus Brian Stann, and Frankie Edgar versus Gray Maynard. I love Phil Baroni. I love Brad Tavares. Seeing him on The Ultimate Fighter and stuff like that, I mean, he seemed like a pretty cool guy, and he's got some sick tattoos. Chris Lieben and Brian Stann. Lieben's always been a favorite of mine since I first started watching MMA. His events were always good, and the catastrophic loss against Anderson Silva was one of the first fights that I paid real close attention to with him, and it blew me away. So he's always been one of my favorites. And then, Brian Stann, he seems like a stand-up guy, a true American hero. I seen a segment about him on the television about how much of a hero he is, and he seems like a real solid guy, good Marine. And then why I like Edgar and Maynard is just, they're lightweights. Edgar is the champion holder right now, and I want to see what he's got. And Maynard, he's just he's got a real go in there and do it attitude, that a lot of wrestlers have, and so that's something I respect. So that's why I picked those 3 fights. First up is Brad Tavares versus Phil Baroni. Brad has a great record. But he does not have a very good competition level. The guys he's faced so far are, to me, I feel, sure, they may be good fighters. I don't know exactly but they're real, no big names, nothing like that. Not a high competition level. He's shown a very even skill set. And when it comes to his striking and incorporating it with his ground and stuff like that, he's decent. He's decent all around. He's got a real even skill set. I know for a fact that he has a reach and height advantage on Phil Baroni. And he's got pretty good cardio. But I feel that Phil Baroni definitely has the strength advantage. I live about 60 miles outside of Las Vegas, and I have a couple buddies who fight at Master Toddy's out in Las Vegas, and I have a fight there April, so come see me if you can. But I know Phil is a real big guy. He's a diesel guy. So I don't think that Brad Tavares can match his strength, because seeing the guy, he's huge. He's fought top level guys, and sure, he hasn't always won. But, he's fought them. He's got a lot of experience, and I think that that's pretty important. He's not a pretty striker, and sometimes it's downright ugly, but it's got devastating effects. Some of his fights are just, phenomenal. He's effective, to me, to a point. It's not always effective, but when it lands, it's effective. He's got a decision streak going on right now. Not in his favor for the last 2, I believe, but and he's got real questionable cardio. He's not one of the best guys in the cardio department. It's pretty questionable, I feel. But reading his Twitter updates and stuff like that, apparently he's revamped his training. His camp is completely different. He's training with AKA out in San Jose right now. Just flew up for the fight because it's what is it now, Friday, because it's 1:19 a.m. But yeah, so hopefully that this will make the changes he needs in his cardio, and he'll be more more technical with his striking. But he's hungry for a win. He needs one, or Dana may cut him. But I think that the experience factor and the fact that he's good with his hands is gonna give him enough to push over into a TKO against Brad Tavares. I just don't think that. I think Brad Tavares hasn't fought on a card this big before. Even though it's the prelims, he may get a little bit spooked. It's gonna be on Ion TV. And so I think that Phil Baroni is going to be able to capitalize on that, utilize his experience, and just TKO Brad Tavares. Maybe second round, maybe third. I don't know, but I'm almost positive it'll end in TKO. But hey, what do I know? Okay, Chris Lieben versus Brian Stann. Chris Lieben, great fighter. I said earlier, you know why I've loved him the entire time. He's ferocious. He's known for his furiosity. He's great all around. He's a great fighter. People say what they want, but compared against mere mortals like us, he's he's a great fighter all around. He lacks a bit of subtlety and technique sometimes in his striking, but he is more experienced than Brian Stann, and he's a southpaw. He's got like a kind of unorthodox, like sloppy style. Not exactly sloppy. Maybe that's the wrong word, but you get my drift. He's got a pretty unorthodox style, and I think that's good. But at the same time, that will be a problem for Stan to deal with. But at the same time, the southpaw stance I think is one of the biggest problems. But of course, Brian Stan has probably had tons of southpaws to train with. He's got vicious striking. Chris Lieben has vicious striking. It's while he hasn't knocked anyone out in a while, his TKO over Aaron Simpson, it just proves that he's still a viable threat. You can never underestimate the striking of Chris Lieben. He could pop you from a weird angle and just knock you the hell out with one of those huge lefts. But Brian Stann, while they're the same age, he appears to be a fresher fighter. As a person, he seems a bit more intelligent. No offense to Chris Lieben, I'm sure he's smart, but Brian Stann seems to really have the mental acuity there. He's got good striking. He's real technical. He's a good boxer. His submissions are weak though, and Chris Lieben may be looking to capitalize on that. I don't know. He may want to stand with Lieben, and we'll see how that goes. I think what he's going to do is he's going to stay standing and look to counter those big lefts. Those big lefts, I think he's going to look to just blast him over the shoulder with a right. Who knows though? I don't know his game plan. But I feel that he has superior strength, and I think that his striking is a little bit more together and cohesive. Well, Lieben's works for him, but I don't think it's so technically cohesive like Stan's is. And so with Stan's superior strength and size, because he is cutting down from 205 to take this fight, I think that he's going to use his technique, and as a larger fighter, he's going to catch Lieben with a counter punch and take a victory by TKO. So Stan by TKO. Frankie Edgar versus Gray Maynard, the title fight of the night, and the last one that I'll be giving my input on. Both guys are decision fighters. You don't see a lot of guys finishing fights at 155, but everyone is attempting it, and I'm proud of that fact. At least they're going out there for us, and cheers to the MMA elite who are going out there every day. Excuse me, training their asses off and trying to finish fights for us to watch. But they are decision fighters, and I think that they're both gonna be looking to implement a game plan over 5 rounds. The stand-up undoubtedly goes to Edgar when it comes to technique, but strength and wrestling definitely go to Gray Maynard. I mean, Edgar has technical boxing, but Gray will come in with these big overhand rights and just pop them with a surprise hit, and just like, whoa, he'll ooh and all the judges. They'll see that coupled with his takedowns, and he'll score big with the takedowns and score big with the overhand rights and some strange punches, maybe even a head kick. I've seen some of his workout videos. He's been working that one. So I think he's gonna roll the dice on this one, go in with those big overhand rights, score his takedowns, and take it to a unanimous decision victory. Hopefully we'll see a KO or two on the card, but I'm not seeing it in this fight. I think if it happens, it'll be Brad Tavares versus Phil Baroni. I think that might be fight of the night. Yeah, so those are my picks, and follow me on Twitter, SteveIsALion, or check out MixItUpAcademy.com, where I train. Have a good night. Enjoy the fights. Have a great new year.